Hello to the Friends of First Baptist and the First Baptist Tulsa family. This is our midweek update for February 12th, 2025. And listen, just a couple of things. I don't have a whole lot of real specific announcements today, so it gives me a little bit of liberty to just remind you of a couple of things. If you want to know what's going on around First Baptist Tulsa, it's very simple. When you're here on Sunday morning, pick up an announcement sheet, and we highlight a few of those on Sunday morning. And then, of course, you're watching the midweek update right now. I always like to highlight the things that are top shelf in my mind, and then pay attention on Friday to the Friday top 5 email that you'll receive. And it's just a good way 3 times a week to be aware of what's coming up, what's going on, and what I want you to be aware of. Okay, so the big deal for me this week is really pretty simple, not as much an announcement, but the 4x4 card. And I just wanted to take the opportunity to talk about this for just a moment because there's a method to this madness. It's called a 4x4 card because for the next 4 months, January, February, March, April, asking you to pray for 4 people who don't know Christ. Now, I'm not going to turn my card around because I've got my names on it right there, and I don't want you to see those names. I want to respect their privacy. But I'm praying every day for these 4 individuals. Now, what you want to do is not only pray for these individuals, but see the opportunities that present themselves in conversations and what they might bring up and what you might bring up in a conversation. Every month I do a pastor's coffee. Every Sunday you can invite somebody to worship. But then twice a year I do a Considering Christianity class. And it's on Sunday morning at 9:45. It's for those who, hey, they're ready to look at the faith, but kind of want to look at what this is really all about. I do a very simple presentation and discussion with folks. And so these are individuals that I'm asking you to pray for. Be sensitive to the Spirit. And as we begin to advertise and promote these opportunities, again, every Sunday in worship, every month in a pastor's coffee, every 6 months or so with a Considering Christianity class, there's an opportunity for you to reach out and share the gospel with people and also share that invite. Okay, so I'd encourage you to pick up that card and begin praying diligently for 4 people. So the scripture reference for this week, the chapter I'm inviting you to read, is Ecclesiastes chapter 5. We're almost halfway through this book, and here's kind of the rough outline. I'm careful about outlining books of the Bible, but there's a rough outline that goes from chapter 5 to the end of chapter 10, and it's just the random thoughts, or not random thoughts. It's a variety of thoughts that the writer will hit for a couple of verses, then go on to the next item. So in chapter 5, there are 2 of those. He talks about religion and he talks about wealth. And he's giving some wisdom around these 2 things. So actually, chapter 5, verses 1 through, 7, these were among some of my favorite verses when I was a student in student ministry. Don't know why. Be careful. Guard your steps when you go to the house of the Lord. Go near to listen rather than to offer the sacrifice of fools who do not know what they do wrong. So there's this sense in which we deal with faith cautiously, consciously, that we're intentional with our faith. And as we go near to God respectfully, but kind of toward the end of this section on religion, when we do speak, verses 4, 5, 6, and 7, it's be intentional with what you say. Keep your promises. If you make a vow, don't make a hasty vow, but keep your vow. So there's the idea here of practicing faith intentionally. Then the topic shifts, starting in verse 8, onto the end of the chapter, to talk about wealth. And as we deal with things of faith cautiously, we should also live life contentedly. And here's a great little section of wisdom on, contentment is really not found in wealth. You can have a whole lot and really feel like you're missing out on what's really important. You can have very little, but yet know the true meaning of life. And at the end it says, can you not be content just knowing God and living in the moment? And so I like these 2 kind of coupled together in chapter 5 because, and for us, I think it's a false dichotomy of here's your sacred life and your secular life. But what we remember is it all works into one whole. We don't separate those 2. We bring them together as we follow Jesus and the way of Jesus together. And in chapter 5 is some great wisdom on how to practically do that. So read Ecclesiastes chapter 5. Now just for a moment, let me do just a brief pastoral word. I was talking with a nurse today as I was visiting hospitals, And Oklahoma is #1 in the nation for flu. Probably won't surprise any of you. A lot of folks in our church family and our community are sick. Pastorally, let me encourage you, if you have friends that are sick, this is a great ministry opportunity to serve somebody else. But also if you're sick, please let me know, let our staff know, let our deacons know so we can be praying for you. And if there's any practical way we can serve, we are ready to do that. Love you, love being your pastor. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.